Hi, today I'm going to talk you through a makeup application I done on Vanessa. I'm starting off with applying the Pixie Glow tonic all over the face and then in with the Bobbi Brown eye cream, using my ring finger to apply this because the skin around our eyes is very delicate, so we don't want to apply too much pressure here. I'm then going in with the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Rich Skin Base and applying that all over the face, not forgetting the neck. And now I'm going in with the NARS Soft Matte Concealer to prep the eyelid for eyeshadow. I don't use eye primers, I don't really believe in eye primers or primers. I prefer using skincare, and I feel like concealer does the job for prepping for eyeshadow. I'm now going in with the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil, and with little small hair strokes I start working that product in the direction of the hairs, using a mascara wand to then go over and work through the brows. This helps soften the product that you've put in place and just makes it blend better and just look overall more softer. I like to take my time with brows. It's one of those ones that I like to try and get as right as I can. I then start off the brows with a fluffy brush and I blend in a nice soft brown tone shade into the crease, and I usually like to just build up in this colour. I'm using the NARS Orgasm palette, and I like to pay a bit of attention to the outer corner as well, right down to the lash line and then right across the crease, and then the same on the other eye. I go through each stage on each of the eye and build up. So now I am going in with a darker shade of that brown with a smaller, more precise brush and focusing that right at the lash line in the outer corner V of the eye. This is going to give more depth and dimension to the eye, and I like to just build on this colour. I take my time, build the colour up and get it to the intensity that I want. Now with what's left in my brush, I'm bringing it and dragging it through the crease just to add a little bit more of a darker tone to that area and make sure everything blends nicely and is very cohesive. I like to go back and forth between each of the eyes through each step of the eyeshadow process. This way I'm constantly comparing both of the eyes so I can get the symmetry that I want. I'm now just applying a shimmer shade from that palette with a flat fluffy brush, and I'm patting it all over the eyelid and then dusting it just to make sure that I'm covering every area. I'm then going in with some more of that product and I'm just building it up, repeating the same process till I get the desired look that I'm after. I'm now just repeating that step on the other eye, and I'll keep doing this as I go through each of the steps. I'm now going in with another shade from that palette. It's another shimmer tone that's in it. This was a new palette, so I was excited to try different colours in it, and I love mixing different shades, and so this is what I was going for. I was having a nice experiment with my new eyeshadow palette. I'm now going in with a clean fluffy brush and blending the edges, just making sure that everything blends in together and that all the eyeshadow colours that I've applied just melt into each other so that you can't see any harsh lines and that the colour then diffuses out to the skin. Decided to go back in and just bring up the intensity on one of the shadows that I applied on the lids. I absolutely love this palette. Definitely, if you're looking for a new eyeshadow palette, then I would recommend. With the lighter shimmer shade in that palette and a small precise brush, I'm going into the inner corner and I'm dusting that product into the inner corner. This helps open up the eye, but I also want to make sure that it comes up towards the eyeshadow that I have already placed so that they work in together and blend nicely. I'm then applying a little bit more of that colour to the brow arch. This is not something I tend to do a lot, but I was wanting to do it for this look. And now with another clean brush, I'm going in and I'm blending those edges. I want to make sure there's no harsh lines, especially because I've added that brow highlight. I want it all to blend in together. I definitely think that the biggest part of my eyeshadow process is blending. A lot of the time I don't have anything on my brush and I'm just going in and blending the colours, just making sure everything melts into each other. Then going back in, adding a wee bit more colour for intensity, blending it again, and I just keep going until I get the desired result I'm looking for. I'm now going in with a gel eyeliner on an angled brush and placing it along the lash line. I typically will go for a soft brown or dark brown shade over a black. The reason being is I just find the browns are much more softer, they add the intensity that I need and they're just not as harsh on the eyes. Obviously for certain looks I will reach for a black eyeliner, but on the whole, the majority of the time I'll go for a brown. Once I've applied the eyeliner, I'll then go in with a soft, small, fluffy brush just to take away any harsh lines, just because this is a more softer look that I'm going for. I then went in with an eyeshadow colour from Charlotte Tilbury. I think it's the Exaggerize. There's a colour in there that I'm just obsessed with. Gives a nice shimmer to the eyelid and it just makes any eyeshadow pop. I think I've popped it on the majority of eye looks because I just love it. I then went round, blended round what I'd done and then applied mascara. I'm then applying false lashes. These are the Ardell Demi Wispies. They are my absolute favourite. They're so light on the eyes. I first apply the lash, I attach it to the middle part of the eyelids and then to the outer corner and then into the inner corner. I just take my time with this. Different eye shapes can mean a wee bit more fiddling about with it just to get it stuck where I want it. I'll get the client to open their eyes, just make sure that nothing's stuck down, it's in the place that I want it so I can see how it looks when the eyes open. Get them to close it again, I'll go back in and then I'll just make sure everything's in place and I'll keep checking it as the lashes dry, just because they can pop out of the outer corners and you just want to make sure that they're down and in place where you want them. I'm now going in with the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation in the shade 6. I absolutely love this foundation. It is one of my favourites. I prefer to apply the foundation with a flat foundation brush and I'll just work the product where I want it, starting in the middle of the face and working my way out, using thin layers and building up where I need to. I like to move to the other side of the face when I'm applying the foundation. This just means that I can see everything and I'm not going to miss anything, so I think it's very important that you move about the face as you work. Make sure that you blend down the neck and don't forget the ears as well. I like to just take my time working around the face, making sure I'm getting every area and making sure that the coverage where I need it to be is there, and just building up as I go. I then like to go in with a damp beauty blender and gently pat over the full face, just making sure that everything is blended in nicely at the face, pushing that product in, and it also takes away any brush strokes that there may be. We just want the skin to look as flawless as we can. I'm now going in with a concealer on a flat brush and I'm applying it on the under eye area. This is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. And I'm just moving that product about everywhere that I'm wanting the coverage to be. Just being very gentle and only using a small amount of product at a time. You can always build it up when you need to. I like to bring the concealer around the nose just because we tend to have a little bit of redness around this area, so we need a wee bit extra coverage there. I'm just moving whatever's left of the product that's on the brush and moving it up towards the temples and then blending any of the outer edges. I'm now applying concealer in between the brows and up towards the forehead, spreading that product out where I want it to. Be careful when I'm going close to the brows. I want to define the brows, but I like to pay attention to the very start of the brows where I've first applied that product. The hairs there are a wee bit more sparse, and what can happen is we can end up missing gaps there and you can see the skin peeking through, so I just want to make sure that there's none of that happening and pushing the concealer down so that everything's covered. If we need to go back in with brow product, we can, but just make sure that we're covering everything that we need to. And then take the concealer down the bridge of the nose and then just making sure that I'm applying it round the nostrils, again because there can be more redness in that area, round the mouth or anywhere where I'm feeling that I want to add that little bit extra coverage, and on the chin. And then gently blend it all out with a damp beauty blender. Remember, be gentle with this because we don't want to move any product that we've already put in place. I'm now going over any blemishes, adding some concealer that's the same shade as her foundation, and with my finger I'm going around the edging of where I've applied that, softening it so it blends into the skin. We do not want to go in with a lighter shade. I'm now going back in with my brow pencil, just adding some hair-like strokes to the start of the brow, just because when we put that concealer I had to push it down into the brows. So in case I took away anything, I want to just make sure that the brows are exactly how I want them to be. I'm now taking a fluffy brush, and what I'm doing is I'm pulling any of the eyeshadow product out so that it will blend in and diffuse out up towards the temples. We just want everything to just kind of melt into each other. We want all the products just to melt in together. I'm now doing the under eye area, so I'm going along with an eyeshadow the same colours I put into the crease, and in a small precise brush I'm just pulling that along the bottom lash line. I like to take my time with this because a lot of clients find it difficult with people being so close to their eyes and their eyes open being like that, so I'll go from one eye to the other and just making sure that I'm not overdoing it in one eye so that their eyes don't water. And then going in with that light shade again, and inner corner, just making sure that it's being brought down to the bottom lash line and everything is the way I want it to be. For contour, I'm using the Nude Sticks Cream Contour Stick in the shade Bondi Bay, and I'm patting this on gently right along the hollows of the cheek, along the jawline, and then round the perimeter of the forehead and at the temples. This adding a little bit of warmth, it's also creating shadow where we want it to be, and yeah, I love a cream contour. I much prefer it to powder. I think it blends so much better, looks more natural. It's definitely my favourite. Again, with this product, I like to just take my time using small amounts and just building it up. It looks like I'm applying a lot, but it is small amounts at a time, building it up, blending it out, and just keeping going until I get the desired look I'm after. I then like to make sure I'm blending out underneath the neck, just so that that jawline contour isn't as harsh and it just kind of diffuses out down the neck. I'm now going in with a smaller brush and I'm contouring the sides of the bridge of the nose. This just helps make the nose look more slimmer. It can make your nose look more straight. I don't typically do this on all clients. Contouring the nose used to be massive and I used to do it in every client because they'd all want it. Now I'm feeling like it's not as popular, but I still love a nose contour and I'll still do it, just not on everybody. I'm now with the same brush and contour, I'm bringing it underneath the lip. This is a really nice trick for adding shadow, making the bottom lip seem as if it's more fuller, and you can do it around your top lip too, just to give a more plump effect. Now with the flat foundation brush and no extra product, I then go round the edges of where I've applied that contour. It's just going to help blend everything out, and then I'll go over with a damp beauty blender again, gently, making sure I'm not moving any of the products I've already put in place, and it's just blending all the products so they're all melting together. We want no harsh lines, we want it to look as flawless as we can. So this is a trick I like to do. Once I've applied all the cream products, I'll go in with a setting spray. While the skin is still wet, I'll go over with a damp beauty blender, patting and gently pushing that product into the skin. It just makes the makeup application last longer, and the end result just overall looks much better, in my opinion. I'm now going in with the best loose setting powder ever. It's a Laura Mercier translucent powder, and I'm taking it on a little triangle powder puff. I got that powder puff from Amazon, really cheap, does the job. You do not need to spend a lot of money in these. I'm just, with a small amount of that powder, patting it along the eye and patting it in places where she's going to maybe get oily. I like to do around the mouth, especially if people are out drinking and they're eating. We want to make sure that everything's set in place, it's not going to move about. I'm now going in with the Vive. This is the Skin Dew, and just applying it in the very outer part where the high point of the cheekbone is, and then blending it out. And I like to do a little bit in the nose, right at the tip, and up close in between the eyes. I'm now going in with Hoola Bronzer in the shade Caramel, and in a very soft fluffy brush I'm working that product over the contour, slightly higher up, adding more warmth into the face. We want to build this product up small amounts at a time, and with a fluffy brush you're not going to be moving anything that's underneath. If you're not familiar with a product, I suggest working it onto your hand first, just so that you know the intensity, and then you can get used to how much you're applying, just so that you're not applying too much. It's always better to build up. I'm now going in with the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk blush. This is by far my favourite blush, and I think I've used it in nearly every client. It's what I reach for all the time. It goes with every makeup look. It really is absolutely beautiful. Again, building the product up, nice soft fluffy brush. It's the secret, because we don't want to be moving anything that's underneath, and we want everything to be getting applied softly, not disturbing the products that are underneath. It is key. I'm now going in with the Hourglass Ambient palette in volume 2. I absolutely love this palette. It's so nice, gives a nice bronze glow to the skin. It's really nice along the chest area, tops of the arms. It's really nice. And then I'll go in with a damp beauty blender again, very gently over those areas that I've just worked on, just making sure that everything is diffusing nicely, melting into the skin, and there's no harsh lines. And then go in with my fluffy brush again at that area, once again just making sure everything's nicely blended and the eyeshadow's diffusing out nicely. I'm now doing the lips. I'm using the lip liner from MAC, it's called Spice, and just take my time to work along the lip line, slightly overdrawn in the centre. When I'm doing lips, I like to try and get eye level, and I like to look at the lips from all different angles, just so that I can make sure I'm getting them as symmetrical as possible, and just taking my time so I can get them as right as I can. I can't remember what shade this lipstick was that I was putting on. I always apply it with a disposable lip wand. I used to use a lip brush, but then after COVID I switched to the disposable lip wands, and I've just stuck with it just because it is more sanitary, and yeah, just sticking with it. And then go back in with the lip liner I used, just to define the edge of the lips again, just because we can kind of lose that definition when we apply the lipstick. Then spraying Charlotte Tilbury's setting spray, and then apply mascara. I usually do the mascara before that, but I'd forgot to do the bottom lash line. It happens. And this is the final result. I absolutely loved how this makeup look turned out. I thought she looked absolutely beautiful, and yeah, I just love the finish of the skin, the eyes, just all goes well together. This is a clip of her in direct daylight, just so that you can see the difference. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching.